In a year when a World Cup is going to be played in India, India have just won six in a row to go on top of the ODI rankings. Other than that one game in Hyderabad where Michael Bracewell played just an impossible innings, India have almost waltzed through. And that just reminds you once again why, in these conditions at home, India are one of the toughest teams to beat. I mean, India's home record is awesome. And against a decent side, a very decent New Zealand side, India have dominated. Look at the margins of victory. Guwahati, 67 runs. Kolkata, 4 wickets. Trivandrum was just unreal. Then Hyderabad, 12 runs. That was the game I talked about. 8 wickets, 90 runs. There's only really been one team this home summer. And that is something that India must be very, very proud of. What I found interesting about this one in Indore, you look at the ground dimensions, you look at the pitch, you look at the number of runs that have been scored here, and you think, yeah, I want to chase. Maybe there'll be a little bit of do I want to chase. That's what Tom Latham thought, and he put India in. What Rohit said at the toss was interesting. He said, I want to bat because that was our game plan today, that we will bat first. Now, what India are doing when they bat first is they're seeking to dominate right from the beginning. Now, look at the last 4 or 5 games in which India have batted first. Look at the number of runs that India have made. 409 ones. The lowest of those 5 is the 349 in Hyderabad. Even today, 385, India look good to go past 400. Got 390 against Sri Lanka. And I think this is down to the captain leading the way from the front. Yes, you could say there have been wonderful batting pitches, and you wouldn't be wrong. You cannot hide behind that. But the captain is leading the way. That is why, as I said in an earlier blog, I found it very interesting that people are saying, but Rohit doesn't have 100. I would have worried about Rohit not getting 100 if he was playing badly. People go through patches when they play badly. Before Virat Kohli came out of this, he did go through a phase when, as he admitted later, he wasn't there. But Rohit wasn't playing badly. He just needed to be in longer and continue playing that way much longer. And sure as ever, the 100 arrived. He's now got 30 hundreds. It's incredible. Ricky Ponting's got 30, but above him are all Indians. We just love batting in white ball cricket. So Rohit, not a problem at all in the manner in which he is batting. And it's so good to see that what this approach is doing is to make life easier for the people who are batting alongside him. I'm enjoying watching Shubman Gill bat. And he's just unfurling one shot after another. I thought the pull shot that he played today was excellent. Then they played a slog sweep of Michael Bracewell as if to say, look, you can't bowl to me. I'm the right-hander. My job is to take you down. And runs hard between wickets. And that jab, of course, that he plays, whether it's on the onside or the offside, is a shot very much his own. But what has been the biggest change in Shubman Gill? He's playing the big ones. And that is when you realize that somebody is arriving. I don't want to read too much more into that. Today's 112 of 78 was an exquisite innings. He's played on wonderful batting surfaces. But here's another young player who doesn't mind pace and who plays spin very well. That strike rate is awesome. He got 360 runs. One more run, and that would have been a record for the most runs scored in a 3-game series. Babar Azam holds it. Now Shubman Gill has joined him. So I said before, and I think they've locked it in. There's something about Shubman Gill that says, look, I'm here. Can he do that in T20 cricket? I don't know. It's the same question that we are asking of Surya Kumar Yadav and Ishan Kishan. Can they do that consistently in one-day international cricket? I'll talk about that as we go along because that's an issue for a little later. Can India continue playing like this, though? I'm not surprised that our good friend on Cricbuzz, Michael Vaughan, has said, right, India are now playing the way they should as champions. And if they continue playing like this in home conditions, then India will be a very, very difficult side to beat. And I can understand why Michael's saying that, because Michael had a ringside view to the transformation of England from a timid side that was behind the times to one that was aggressive, front-loading, and playing ahead of its time. Can India continue playing like that? Well, those 5 innings in which India batted first are a good indicator. You also see the way Virat Kohli starts. He got only a 30 today, but see the way he's starting, and I think he's bought into this theory that if you're going to be batting first, then you go hard up front. What that needs is little more depth in batting. And I'll come back to Ishan Kishan, Surya Kumar Yadav, not quite yet establishing themselves. I cannot put a finger on why that's happening with Surya Kumar Yadav, because today the conditions were absolutely perfect for him. Look what happened immediately after Virat Kohli. Ishan Kishan took a little bit of time to get going. The tall New Zealand bowlers were hitting the deck. They were bowling well. Surya Kumar Yadav hit two amazing sixes, and you thought he's going to go further. And Washington Sundar had a few innings in New Zealand, but he's not really owned that place. He's not told Akshar Patel, you know what, I'm going to make it difficult for you to come back. And so a total that seemed like it would get to 420, suddenly we are thinking 360, 370. And that is where India's most valuable player comes in. Through these six matches, the one thing that struck me is, can you imagine this team without the balance that Hardik Pandya provides? Look what he did in Raipur. You played three seamers, you wanted a fourth, and there he came, 6 over 16 runs. He picked up a couple of wickets. Now, the team that India picked today, you had Shardul Thakur. I'm not sure Rohit wanted to have too much of Shardul Thakur in the power play. He definitely did not want too much of Umran Malik in the power play. You can't have the two wristies bowling in the power play. So what happens? Hardik Pandya has to bowl. What does he do in the power play? 4 overs, 1 for 20. He is proving to be an invaluable player for his captain. Then when it looks like India might finish 360, he comes in and makes 54 of 38 balls. That spell today, he's finished 6 overs, 1 for 37, but that first spell was absolutely crucial. So it's a little worrisome that India don't have a replacement for Hardik Pandya, but without Hardik Pandya, this side will look a little incomplete, especially because he's bowling Seabap. What about my other favorite player? It's every time I go around and I talk about Shardul Thakur, people say, but how on earth is he doing it? You look at Shardul Thakur, he doesn't look like he's going to be Ian Botham. There were some comparisons drawn once. But look at what he's done in a short career. He's taken 7 wickets in a test match. He's changed test matches with his bowling in England. He's turned matches around with his batting in Australia. These are all against tough opponents. Came and bowled the last over with not many to defend in Hyderabad against a rampaging Michael Bracewell. Had the presence of mind to go full and bowl the Yorker. Today didn't think anything about letting a knuckleball go, and once again turned the match and was player of the match today. There's something about Shardul Thakur, and I think it comes from his enormous self-belief. I think Ravichandran Ashwin said once that he admires Shardul enormously just for the spirit he brings to the side. 6 overs, 3 for 45. What are you looking at? You're looking at the economy rate. You're saying, what's the big deal about him? He turned the match around today. And there are some players who are like that. They like to wade into situations. When the situation is tough, they're not afraid to fail. They will fail many times. Shardul has failed many times. But the ability to wade into a situation is what makes some players special. And that is why Shardul will always be around there. Will this golden touch end? I don't know, but why should we even think about that? Because at the moment, he's turning matches around. You've got to admire people like Shardul Thakur. I was overjoyed for him today. The other big plus for India at the end of these 6 games, dare I say at the end of these 3 games, has been Kuldeep Yadav. We've talked a lot about Kuldeep bowling the extra pace, but he's become already Kuldeep. He's Rohit Sharma's go-to bowler. I want a wicket, right? I'll put Kuldeep in. People are not picking his wrong gun. It's coming off at a quicker pace. The trajectory is a little bit different. And as Lakshman Sivaramakrishnan said in his tweet today, he's bowling more with his body, which is what the great leg spinners always do. He's bowling beautifully. He's getting those shots over the infield as well, a couple of shots towards the end. And he's raising hopes of Kulcha coming together again. I thought Chahal bowled beautifully today. He seems to get all these difficult grounds to bowl in, but he bowled very well today in that first spell. How do you get Kuldeep and Chahal in? You need somebody to bat at 8, but they're going ahead of the script. There's a long time before that to come because Akshar Patel has played beautifully too. So Shami, big plus. Siraj, big plus. Hardik Pandya, big plus. Kuldeep Yadav, big plus. The middle order may be still a little bit of a concern, especially because it seems now like Rishabh Pant may not be available for a little while. So that will be filled by Shreyas Iyer coming back and by K. Rahul coming back to play as a batter in the middle order. And who knows, if Jadeja comes back into form, then India will have that core group that Rahul Dravid is very proud of talking about. What about New Zealand? I asked Tom Latham, I said, how is it to go out onto the field and look around and not find Trent Boult or Tim Southee around? Trent Boult, I think, is almost finished with New Zealand. Tim Southee is not going to be around for that much longer. He's already been a magnificent performer, but his speed is down. I don't know how it will be if Matt Henry is available, Kyle Jamieson is available, but they're missing those two. And I thought in a run chase like this on a very good batting surface, they missed Kane Williamson. I think Daryl Mitchell is batting a little too high. Tom Latham is out of form. Glenn Phillips at number 6, yes, he's doing very well, but they're not getting the starts from Finn Allen. They're really missing Kane Williamson today. Devon Conway is now the centerpiece of that batting, but he needed a lot more support. New Zealand always play well in World Cups, though, so you'll expect them to come back shortly. But they need more from Finn Allen. I actually believe they need a little more from Henry Nicholls. He's a good player, but Ken Williamson will take that spot. And they'll still need to find a Ross Taylor kind of player to play for Daryl Mitchell, unless they want Mitchell to go down and Glenn Phillips to come up. They're fine with Bracewell and Santner, and I think they'll need a little bit more at the bottom. But sometimes the opposition makes you feel lesser. And I think that is what India did today.